Hello, hello. Welcome to the very first episode of the Between the Two Tales podcast. My name is Kevin. I'm joined by my co-host Dave. So Dave, why don't you tell the good people out here what we're doing on this show?
What's going on, everybody? So, as Kevin already said, my name is David, and what we got in store here, a little bit of play, a little bit of having fun with creating stories. So what we're going to do, and I think Kevin has the generator, we're going to generate 5 words. We're doing 5, not 10, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it's 5
words. 5 words. And if you guys want more, let us know for the next episode. But we're going to generate 5 words, and then we're going to create a story incorporating those 5 words. So again, we haven't selected it. Scout's honor. Kevin is going to generate them right now, and we'll see what kind of interesting story we can come up with.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of story we can make. Just to give you guys some context, Dave and I, we're writers, we're storytellers. That's what we do for a living. Dave and I have co-authored some children's books together. And, we just like creating stories together. It's what we talk about when we hang out and stuff like that. So we just wanted a creative outlet to pretty much create stories from scratch and see how we can use our skills to see if we can create something cool. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen on the random word generator briefly, and then we'll pop up some words, and then we'll get to cracking, see if we can make something cool. All right, so let me do this. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Let's see what we got here.
All right, we're going to do one spin. Everyone knows the rules. One spin only. Here we go.
Okay.
So we got, I'm going to write these down too on my whiteboard. We got pottery, understanding, lie, referral, and soft. So let me write these down on my board here. Pottery, understanding, lie, referral, and soft.
Pottery. Okay.
Okay. I got the words written down on my board here for everyone to see. Okay, so I'm going to hit my mic there. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to create a through line or a log line, which is basically like a one sentence synopsis of what the story is going to be using these 5 words. Dave and I were practicing yesterday. I was having internet issues, so we were just doing a few trial runs to see what we can come up with. So just looking at these words right now, let's see, pottery, that could be the object of desire within this story we create. Understanding, the character, MC that we create, the main character, can have an understanding with a villain or something to get the pottery. He can lie to someone about it. He gets a referral. Maybe he's on a quest or something. I'm just spitting out a bunch of ideas out there.
I'm also thinking maybe the main character's trying to work at a pottery studio of some sort.
That's true.
And maybe
true.
That's picking up on something you said, Kevin. Maybe that's like their life. Their life's goal is to just make pottery.
Oh, you know what? I forgot what that movie was. Maybe but there's a movie where it's this guy who's a lawyer and he graduates from college. I think it's called The Firm or something, but he works for a lawyer firm, but it's actually a front for the mob.
Are you trying to get the mob involved in this?
No, but look, check this out though.
Tom Cruise film, the one you're talking about?
I think so.
Okay.
So check this out. He gets a referral from someone to work for a pottery store. But it's all a lie. It's actually a front for an organized crime. And he has to come to an understanding because he's soft he has to come to an understanding with the organized crime because he's deep in it now. Maybe because the pots he makes have been used to like to carry drugs or something across borders.
Yeah.
And he has to come to an understanding and escape. Now, I don't want to bite too much off of that film because in that film, the lawyer guy, he's fighting against two people, the FBI or the government and the mob, because they're like, we're going to throw you in jail if you don't help us.
It's
and
a
he's
classic
like,
in the middle situation.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, that's just one idea.
What if I said it earlier because I thought that's where you were going, but what if you ever seen the movie Whiplash?
Who's that with?
I'm forgetting the main character's name, even though he's rising like a star. Miles Teller, J.K. Simmons. It's about a drummer.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't seen it in a long time. That's old, right? That came out like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah.
And so I was like, for some whatever reason, I was like, if we took this pottery idea, well, we're going to take this pottery idea. What if they were like so obsessed about it that like to them getting in is the biggest deal ever, and then they end up meeting either a psycho, like they work as an apprentice, and like their apprenticeship is with like a psycho. What do you call a person that creates pottery?
That's a good question.
But anyways, they come up against this psycho, and they have to deal with this while coming to understand that they're actually too soft.
Now, is he
for the world of pottery?
Is the mentor? Is he actually a psycho, or is he like he's just so serious about pottery that it seems psychotic?
I think the latter. They would have to be like so about it, and so they're a master of it that they seem psychotic by the way they push. But I feel like it's a little bit of the absurd because from my understanding from a couple of folks I know who make pottery and they go to pottery classes, it's actually every single one of them said it's a space meant to be calm and I won't say silent, but you're kind of in your head and you're working with this thing and molding the clay and so on. So it's like the opposite of that and creating chaos.
Right.
Creating chaos with it. So it sounds like we either have a front for the mob of some sort, or this is what's meant to be for this person, the main character. It's what they want. It's what they wanted for the longest time, let's say, or whatever.
Okay. Well, let's start like shaping our main character then. Before we give him a name, I guess in both scenarios we both agree that with the word soft, it's gonna describe his nature, right? We're not gonna use that word for anything else.
Yeah, I mean the clay soft, but I feel like adding it as a attribute of the person is more interesting than the clay soft,
right. Okay, so soft will be the attribute of our main character. Our main character loves pottery. That's his passion.
Yeah. Passion is pottery. But here's the thing, and I think that's actually what makes it interesting here is, and I don't know in what capacity, but is willing to lie in order to further their career in pottery.
Or maybe like in order to work with this psycho pottery mentor, it's like a strenuous application process or something, and he lied he made up his resume or accomplishments or something like that.
Yeah, it could be something like that, or I'm thinking kind of another way to incorporate lie, which is somewhere in the story. It's not very character based, but just putting out there, someone in the story, he's told or she's told a big lie that, you know, changes things. The most obvious is like, you know, let's say there's a competition and or whatever, and they think they've been doing well with steady progress, and then all of a sudden this teacher, if we keep this person, you know, they've been feeding them like, yeah, you're doing great, like this is inspiring, blah blah, and then find out that it was actually he or she was actually lying to the main character and totally just like destroys them, and now it's like a comeback story or something like. Because that's devastating. If like you go through all that and you're like, yes, I'm finally doing the thing I need to do. I have my mentor or my not really a mentor at that point, but like the teacher, and they're telling me I'm doing my work is amazing or it's great or whatever, it's inspiring, blah blah. And then like they tell them that it's trash, blah blah, like it's a lie, and like how that person has to rebound from that devastating news.
So you're saying that our main character's work is actually good, but someone told him it's a lie, and it destroys his confidence for pottery.
Yeah, it could be really good, and then they're told it's really good, and so like the lie is a lie itself, right? So they're lying, saying it's terrible, when in actuality it's great, and that person knows it. They just, for whatever reason, try and knock them off, or
Maybe
stop
that
them.
whoever lied to them about that steals our main character's idea.
There you go. There you go.
To make it more interesting. But then we have to figure out what they're stealing the idea for. If it's like a contest or like to sell it, something.
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm not saying 100% stamp, but I am saying the most obvious is the contest. I watch some of these shows. One's, competitions. One's about glass, and like I think it's called Blowing Glass or something like that. It's on Netflix, and the showrunners will pretty much tell the contestants, "All right, hey, here's an overall idea you need to achieve. Everyone needs to come up with their own individual idea," and then they run off to go do it. I always wonder what would happen if, like, one of the contestants looks over, sees that, person X has a better idea, and they take it and then they execute it even better, and then they could lie and be like, "I wouldn't do that if I were you," and it gets in that person's head, and they don't execute on what their gut was like. Oh, this is a good idea. They get all messed up, and the person takes it and then executes it, and it like wins the challenge or whatever. Like that would probably piss that person off or devastate them or make them cry or blah blah blah. This person's soft, so maybe they would cry and then they have to rise like a phoenix. You know what I mean? But like,
true.
By the end of this, they're no longer soft.
Right? They're no longer soft. They're hard pottery person. Okay. All right. We have this idea of a contest that would be the environment, pretty much.
Yeah.
Around which the story is based around. Referral. So the most easiest one, lowest hanging fruit, is our main character meets his teacher through a referral from like a family friend or someone he knows who connects the two.
Hold on. Hold on. If this is for a contest, a studio, let's say a pottery studio has multiple people, right, in their rank. And the antagonist and the protagonist can be in the same studio. And the antagonist, who I'm just, the liar and stealer, can be someone that was referred to join the studio. So it's almost like a little bit of you ever seen that movie? I think it was a book as well, Black Swan, with Natalie Portman and.
I don't think I've ever watched that movie.
Yeah. So in Black Swan, it's a ballerina movie. Yeah. And it's like the white swan needs to turn into the black swan and needs to take on the personality of the black swan, right? I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm going to skip some parts. But the gist is Natalie Portman's character is like working towards becoming the best ballerina and really doing a great job for this performance. And she's, climbing up the ranks. And then they introduce a new character comes in, and she can do the Black Swan. She's sort of like the backup for Natalie Portman.
Okay.
And she has to pretty much contend with her. And it's like someone who's brought in, and it shakes the whole thing up because she's thinking, all right, I'm doing it, getting there. And then the director's just like, I don't, you're not there. Mila Kunis is who comes in, and she's like the better version of her. And now we have this competition, even though it's for the same dance, it's for the same performance. Now it's like, wait, a second person's coming in, and it might take your spot. It's almost like I'm gonna take your spot if you're not good enough. And you have that competition. And she's everything that Natalie can't be, the edginess, the sex appeal, all this other stuff that she does the white swan well, but it's like she can't transform into the black swan. And so with this idea, it's sort of like the antagonist can kind of be brought in just like how Mila Kunis character is brought in, later on as a referral. And it's like, this person is actually here to take your spot, and you have to fight to keep it.
You can also flip the script too. The antagonist could be the number one person at the studio, and our MC is the one that's brought in as a referral. So, so that would make it more enticing for the antagonist to lie to our MC to steal their idea because they want to keep their number one spot. And because the MC is so new to this, they trust the person because, that's the number one person at the studio. So they're more gullible and susceptible to manipulation.
Okay. So what is the redeeming quality of the protagonist, or what brings them? Because right now they're lying to get what they want. Okay. What's the message? Because I guess one thing is with the other way, it's like, I want to win. They're still playing within the boundary, let's say, but they want to win. And then this new person's brought on, and it's like, this person's number one, the protagonist number one, and then the antagonist comes in, and he or she is just like, they got number one quality too. Like they're very good, right? And so it comes that kind of battle where it's not like the antagonist is gullible or whatever. It's like, no, they're here to fight. And that in itself brings out drama. And that's like a genre kind of question, right? But that really brings out the drama in it because they're both really good and about to fight for this. Versus, and protagonist is number one, someone comes in as a threat, but they're gullible, let's say, and they
Oh,
lie.
I was saying that the antagonist is number one, and our protagonist comes in.
Okay. And then the protagonist comes in, they're gullible, and then they get lied to, and then they have to come to understanding like this person is not giving them advice for their best interests.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I guess there's three options. There's three avenues now. Actually, I didn't even think about the other one that you just said. The protagonist is the one that's lying, who is like a pseudo antagonist, I guess, the main character. That's kind of interesting too.
All three are I can see as we're talking about, like all three are all three could work. Is what I'm getting at. Like all three could work. So which one do we find currently interesting for now? That's really the question.
I think we should visit the word understanding, because I think the moment of understanding in this story, that's going to be like the climax. So
right, well, it could.
Yeah, it could. So I guess we can see with all three of those angles what that moment of understanding looks like in that thread, in that storyline, and see which one's more compelling. So if they're both number one, they're both like creme de la creme pottery people. What is like a moment of understanding between two people who are fighting for a top spot when there can only be one? Do they share the top spot? Does one forfeit? Become second place?
I'll throw one out, which is would be whatever it is. It has to be more things added to the main character if this is going to work. But protagonist has to learn probably something about themselves, and then transform or better their talent or whatever. That's one. So it's like learning about self. They're number one, but it doesn't mean that they don't have a flaw, and they have a flaw that is exposed when potentially exposed when the antagonist comes. So it's like a flaw thing that they have to beat. And so that's something they understand about themselves is the flaw that they didn't have to look at. Now this person comes in and then they have to contend with it one way or another. And they understand, either they understand that they have to, or they come to understanding about themselves, that they have this flaw, etc. Yeah.
Okay. So it could be understanding. What you're saying is the understanding doesn't have to be between two people. It could be of the character and themselves.
Yeah. But let's explore between two people, because, that's just one,
right.
You don't even know what the flaw would be, but that's just one idea.
That's true. That's also a good angle. Because if we went with the person, whoever it is, and who lies to the other person to steal their idea, that person must come to an understanding that the other person is just more talented.
Yeah. So in that story, it's like the outcome wouldn't be winning. It would just be the climax potentially be like losing, if it is a competition, right? Losing competition, and then coming to the understanding that that person is better than them.
Right. Okay.
Like a sad story.
All right. That's pretty interesting. Take note of that. Understanding that other. Did you find the term of what pottery people are called? I feel like we should give them some respect and not call them pottery people.
Pottery people. It looks like a ceramist.
Ceramist.
You know, I also see clay artist, potters,
A potter. A Harry Potter.
spelled the same way. So potters, ceramist. Yeah, those should do.
All right, we'll call them potters.
You know what's funny? They had Harry Potter. I mean, they always have Harry Potter running. I feel like every day somewhere on television or some crap. But
of course,
it in the background.
Of course. Okay, cool.
All right. So,
all right. So,
really,
what should the dynamic between our soft MC,
yeah,
and the antagonist be? Should our main character come in as the person that's like the new up and comer? Should they already be number one? Or should they just come in as like the newbie who's like excited to learn, not have any, desires of being the best or whatever. They just want to do pottery.
Yeah.
And then they get taken advantage of that way.
Again, any of these could work. I guess it really comes down to mood. And what kind of mood are we trying to give this thing? And also, if we want it to be just drama, suspense, or like like a thriller. I think very evil things. I mean, evil things can come out of any of them, except for the last one. It could, but I think it can get very malicious and dark in an interesting way if it's I'm number one already, and then the newbie comes in and they're jockeying for their spot, and they're willing to do things that the protagonist isn't. I think it gives us some avenues there. However, on the other side, coming in as the newbie, and let's just say that they have the same drive. Let's say not necessarily to become number one, but just to drive to do well and exceed. And then they end up exceeding and doing well. And then we have the antagonist who is number one, who's like, you're not taking my spot. Like, that's not happening.
When you said dark and moody, the first thing that crossed my mind was the antagonist, his or her lie gets exposed that she stole the idea, and then they try to murder our MC.
This could go into a proper and then it goes from like pottery into like, but it could turn into this thing where it's like, I want, to fill a vase that I created with this person's blood. I mean, think about how dark that is. Think about how dark that is. I don't know. We can make these characters whoever. So
Jeffrey Dahmer is in the story.
Oh God. It could get that dark. But the question is, do we want to write that dark? That's all it really comes down to. Is do we feel like writing dark?
That sounds pretty. The contrast going from like pottery to like violence. That seems like interesting and fun.
You know how like those things always come up, and it's like, I wonder how, when something like terrible happens, right? And people sit around and they're like, how do they get from like this from point A to point B? Like what took place? What sequence of events happened, and what took place for them to get into this mindset that made them do something so heinous? And that's kind of like a story here. Is like, what took place to for them to commit such a heinous, murder, as it sounds like we're
Attempted murder.
Attempted murder.
Could
But here, the question still remains. It can work either way. I'm literally 50-50. We can flip a coin, but it could be the protagonist who's number one, who has to defend their position, or it can be the antagonist is number one. Protagonist is trying to overtake, and maybe not even like in a serious way, but they just are that damn good, and so they do. And we have how with the first one, it's weird to say protagonist and then say they try to remain number one, and then what if they're the ones that commit the attempted murder? It's kind of You're
trying to turn our main character into like Joe from what's that show? You?
From You? Yeah, exactly. Like he becomes or she becomes. I'm kind of thinking she. I don't know why. I think pottery.
All right, we'll go with that.
But
she.
Not that pottery's genderless, but I think it'd be interesting. I think, I forgot about what was it? It's called You. I forgot about that. I didn't watch the last season, but I should, or the latest season. But yeah, I saw the first two, and he has his way of thinking, and it makes some weird sense. And
because he thinks he's doing the right thing,
right? But it's in service. It's in service of, I think in the first season, it's been a while. I think in the first season, it's in service of him protecting someone.
Well, that's what he feels like. No,
that's what he feels like. But
he kidnaps his crush. Remind
me again.
Yeah, he kidnaps his crush, which is a blonde girl, I believe, and he does all these things to try to sway her to fall in love with him. I think he like murders like another person who is interested in her or something. And then she finds out, and then he kidnaps her. And then the good thing that comes out of it was she was an author, and she had writer's block. And because she was trapped in a glass prison in this dude's basement for so long, she ended up writing like some best-selling novel out of it.
You mean his original ex?
Yeah, the original girl.
Yeah, but she wasn't. Okay, I'm sorry. It's starting to come back to me. But that book didn't come out until like the second season, right? Something like that, or the end first.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
okay. Gotcha.
The second season, if I remember correctly, was weird because
there was a Hispanic girl who got
the crush that he had. His new crush in the second season, I believe, is just as crazy as him. And she ended up like killing her brother in the end or something.
She ended up killing somebody for him, and then they got married and had a baby. And that was like the third season.
Yeah, she killed her brother.
Yeah.
Her brother was writing a screenplay with Joe.
Oh, right. Yeah,
yeah.
I remember. They had a scene where like he made them stay in like a hotel for like
with the whiteboard,
posting bodyguards outside, and he needs to like get back. No, she didn't kill the two people. Maybe she did, but she killed the girl in the cage first. He had like the Hispanic chick in the cage in that bookstore's basement. He couldn't get back to her, and by the time he did, something like that, she was dead. And he was like, "Who killed her? Did I kill her?" He kept like halfway blacking or something like that. He didn't remember if he was the one that killed her, and then it was revealed that he didn't kill her. This girl did. That he eventually married. Such a twisted story, huh?
What a story! All right, so our
twistedness.
Our MC could be like a Jekyll and Hyde person.
So what we'll say here is they are number one.
Number one.
I got like a gnat flying around trying to get in on this session. They are number one.
Here's ideas. Okay, so he's the top pot. She's the top potter.
She's the top potter. Antagonist comes in, getting all the accolades and appreciation, and everyone thinks she's the bee's knees, as one may say. And this just burns her to no ends. And
maybe
we might be able to cast away with this competition. We're actually not making a competition thing anymore. We're kind of making more of like a revenge,
like a hierarchy, and and like fighting for positions in a studio, in a pottery studio. Okay, so if our MC is the twisted one, I think soft, the attribute, should move to the antagonist then?
Not necessarily, because they could. Here's the thing: the heroes, even though anti-hero journey, they can start off soft, and by the end of this,
that's true. That's true. At
the end of this thing, they are, they think they're sweet, kind, and nice and soft, but realistically, their actions say something else, and they are just evil and mean spirit. So, like, they can start off soft and genuinely be soft, whatever. But there's another side of them that they didn't know was there until push came to shove, right? And then now this other side is revealed, and you see this person develop from being soft or whatever into this other thing that they themselves didn't even know they had.
Okay, so from what you're saying, our MC starts off as soft, but then the antagonist wrongs her in some way, and that brings out this monster that's hiding within our MC. And she takes things past pottery.
Yeah. That's
all right.
Because listen, at the end of the day, for the protagonist, we want them to change and not just be the same person throughout the whole thing. And I think them starting off quite the opposite of what wickedness they're about to commit is interesting.
Okay.
This is hilarious. But you know what? This is actually like I can see it. It's very interesting.
All right, cool. So I think we have enough here that we can start plotting the story out. So we do. So I guess the story can start off as, the pottery studio is running as normal. They're making their things. And then one day, it's like the new kid at school. The antagonist gets brought in. The teacher introduces the antagonist as like, we should probably give these characters names. So-and-so. So-and-so is let's say, she's the daughter of a close friend of mine, to make things more interesting.
Sure.
or she's the son or daughter, whatever. Maybe we can make the antagonist a dude. He's the son of a close friend of mine, and he'll be joining our studio as of today. So now it kind of makes it interesting because then our MC tries to murder her dear teacher's family friend's son.
Yeah, why not? Hey,
Throw some wrenches in there. Okay.
The thing about this kind of story is that there's always you have the stages, right? So you have the stage, and this is like a rough, whatever, I'm just kind of spitball. But stage one is like, put like this, all right, life is good, no issues, right? It's the norm.
Yeah.
What they're used to, they're on top dog in the pottery world in the studio. Stage two, threat is introduced. Okay, unsure what to make of them, right? Not necessarily met with hate, unsure what to make of them, and some more can go into that. But stage three is kind of like the protagonist now sees that this person is awesome, right? And so this person is awesome and is a threat to the protagonist's norm. Doesn't mean murder, just means, hey, what the hell is going on here? Stage four, this is where it could get interesting. The whole thing is, but protagonists could try certain techniques first to see if they can. So it's like, all right, if their ultimate goal is to remove this person, right? What things may they try to remove this person before it means I have to kill this person, right? So one thing could be, and we could spitball about this a little bit, and go further. But one thing could be like, I don't know, either to try to get them to go to a different studio or downplay their work, try to put them underneath their wing, the protagonist's wing. It's like trying to contain. If I can't get them to leave, maybe I can contain and to be underneath me.
Make this person my lackey.
Yeah, that's one thing that could happen. But stage four is like, whatever is going to happen is like first attempt to.
It should start off friendly and then gradually just get worse and worse.
It shouldn't be anything that's like hardcore, right? It's almost like trying to become friends, but she's trying to contain or minimize or blah blah, but it's still in a friendly way. It's still in a, it's not it's jealousy. It's not hate.
Jealousy, yeah, right.
It's really what it comes down to. First attempt is to in a sense contain. I'm using the word contain, but it doesn't have to be that. But it's the jealousy stage that leads them to action to try to contain. And then stage 5 is, it doesn't work. Whatever they try, it doesn't work.
So what I'm thinking,
off
the top of my head is like, first, they'll be like try to act like this this welcoming mentor, try to take the antagonist under their wing. Antagonist brushes them off, say, nah, whatever. He's like, I'm gonna do my own thing. Then our main character starts downplaying the antagonist's work, just making small remarks here and there, like, oh, that doesn't look your plot doesn't look as smooth today, or something. Your
You know
that
what
clay looks
really
burnt.
pissed off this protagonist? Let's say, like, all right, you just said, like, the pot is something, right? Let's just say, like, there's a defect and it appears only the protagonist is able to see the defect and no one else seems to give a damn and they still think it's amazing. You know, that's the kind of thing that gets underneath people's skin, especially when you're
Right.
this competitive. It's like, but there's a notch where it's not supposed to be, and everyone's like, no, it doesn't matter. It's a difference, unique, blah, blah. Like, they don't care, and it's just not technically right, but they don't really care. You know,
Yeah.
in the sense of to just drive them crazy, where it's just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe we should look in the process of how a pot is made real quick, because then once we get further down, when it turns into like actual sabotage,
Yeah.
like when I mean, I feel like you got to put those pots in an oven or something so they can dry
In the kiln.
in a kiln. Yeah. So maybe our protagonist leaves the antagonist pot or figurine or whatever they made inside the kiln longer than it should.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens when you over dry a pot. Maybe there's like cracks that form or something.
Yeah. There's literally a show. You know, now that you got me thinking, I actually watched. I was talking about glass. There is one for glass. There is one for pottery as well. And I watched it. It's only one season, I think, and it was pretty good. I think they shoot it in England. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, there is. The Great Pottery Throwdown. No, this is something else. This is on.
You would watch something like that.
Okay, maybe it wasn't this then, because this doesn't look familiar. I thought it was on Netflix, but it's saying Blown Away. Blown Away is the one with glass. I know that one. Yeah. So maybe the Great Pottery. Yeah, British television. Yeah, okay. So it must have been. I thought it was on Netflix. So it's a show on HBO. I guess they had a couple seasons. But that more or less that's what happens, right? It's like you overdo it. It can break, it can shatter, etc.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people, they took it out, and then they go to. There's another process. There's another part of the process. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a holding chamber where, maybe that is also the kiln, but so like a holding chamber, I believe, and they're trying to bring it over there while it's like hardened, right? So at this point, it's already hardened. So maybe they did whatever decorations they were going to do. Like you can paint it, right? Glaze it, and then they bring it over to a rack to dry or whatever. And they had like inside of it looks like almost like a refrigerator, but it's not. And some people dropped it on the way over there, right? Someone could be tripped, and it's like you trip. You've already done all this work, this elaborate work. You put it in the kiln, you had it harden, and then you go to do this next thing, and someone trips you on accident, or I don't know, and then it shatters, and you have to start again. And if it's a competition, you may not have the time to finish another one.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know why. You know what's funny? My girlfriend always says, "Why do you watch this?" And I was like, it's just something interesting to see. Little does she know.
It'll come full circle.
It came full circle. But it can be sabotaged like that, like
okay.
Or unplugging the thing, right? Because I think it's electric. So they unplug it and then the thing doesn't properly
it's still wet.
Yeah, it doesn't finish. Well, like there's multiple ways you can like sabotage.
Okay, so let's say the main character tries to sabotage the antagonist. Antagonist kind of catches wind that the main character is trying to screw them over. And he that's when he starts to get his get back. So he because his plot is ruined, he like I don't know, steals an idea or something from the main character, and that's what's triggers this alter ego monster within our main character.
What's the worst thing that could happen to someone in a situation like this? I think the worst thing would be like getting kicked out of the studio altogether, or the competition, blah blah. Like they get kicked out.
That's true. Yeah.
And that could set. I think that would be a good straw to send this person into a rage.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's true.
And and then now we have the basis for revenge. Now, how that revenge takes place. Listen, it's like, all right, at one instance, it's just this like little world. There's no branches any further. But then once you get kicked out, maybe this person wants to, and I'm not saying we're going to do this, but just to illustrate the point, maybe they want to go slash some tires, let's say. But then my point is this about it. Whatever that thing is, it causes the guy to create a police report, let's say. Now we're starting to have some very real world consequences for this person's actions. And it's a minor thing. It's serious, but, police report, I know who did this. They're on camera. They didn't even know they're on camera, let's say. And now they're like, let's see, you have to go to court. Like, yeah, it's a minor crime, let's say, but you're going to have to pay for this. This tires, and go to court and blah, blah. And they're going to tell you this, you have to pay for this tires, blah, blah. And then now it becomes something where like we're going deeper and deeper into rage and stuff. And then somewhere, because she's been brought in or put through the system, so to speak, that could come back to add some suspense in a later scene. Around the time that it's like, oh, are they going to get caught or not? I don't know how, but it could help us with the suspense later on down the road. But just for the time being, it's like it just beats them down even further. They thought they were going to get the sabotage and the rage out. And they slash a tire, do something real world, and then it backfires on them again. And now they have to it just brings them into this rage about it. And maybe they beg, maybe
she tries to set his apartment on fire.
Well, maybe she tries to. Okay, maybe it's not slashing tires, but okay, whatever it is. Maybe she tries to whatever it is. She tries to she needs a moment where she tries to set things straight, flatten it out, and just be like, yeah, I did this. I'll pay you, blah, blah, or whatever. I'll make it up to you. Please drop this. Right? Don't ruin my life. Please drop it. And he's like, hell no. And then, now we're adding in desperation. And it's like, well, what can make someone try to commit murder? Rage and desperation. I mean, now we have the concoction that makes sense for how they got to this point where it's like, I have to take this person out.
All right. Okay. Let's come up with names for the main character, the antagonist that comes in, and the teacher, even though the teacher is going to be there for one sentence. Mr. The teacher can be named Mr. Potter. Mr. Potterson.
Mr. Potterson.
No.
Yeah, listen, I don't mind it being on the comedic. This thing is getting so dark that I almost hesitate to make it comedic.
We could do a random name generator. if you want to pull one up.
Let's do it.
Make a female name
Now I
and
have
two
to
male
watch.
names.
I have to rewatch an episode or whatever season of. I mean, I think in one episode you can kind of get the point of the Great Pottery Showdown. I didn't even think I finished it. I think I watched episode 2 on a lazy Sunday. What am I looking up here again?
Random name generator.
Random name generator. Okay. Nielsen Clark. Tyrone Hughes.
Nielsen Clark.
Faye Carroll.
Tyrone Hughes.
That sounds like a name of a Potter.
Faye Carroll.
Yeah.
All right, let's make Faye Carroll our main character. Faye Carroll.
Oh, do you want the teacher or the main character?
Both. I mean, we need a name for the teacher, the main character, and the antagonist.
All right. So I was thinking of the teacher for right now. We'll call him Faye Carroll.
Oh, okay.
And all right. So we have female. Give me 25 names.
So the teacher is going to be named Faye Carroll.
Yeah. Let's get our main here.
All right.
Do we care about any particular race?
No. Whatever sounds right for a murdering Potter.
Latoya Phelps. Irma. No.
Irma.
Harriet Barnes. See, some names you can't help but just say in a certain way. Harriet Barnes. I always think of like Harriet Tubman. Such an old name. Natalie.
Harriet.
Natalie Lindsay. Of course, one of them is Kelly Potter. For one of the Joanne Richardson. Erica. Marie. Erica again. Erica Burns. I think Erica's a nice name.
For a murdering Potter?
We can call her Erica Potter.
Erica Potter.
Or Erica Burns. And then the attempt, as you already said, was trying to burn down the apartment.
Erica Burns. Okay. Little foreshadowing in the name there.
Yeah, why not? It's
Erica Burns.
Not too on the nose where like it gives away in the beginning.
Erica Burns.
Yeah.
All right, I need a male antagonist name.
Needs a male. Male. Okay. Let's see what we. Kevin's fun.
You know what? I think Max Bach.
No. For those of you who are watching who don't know, Max is a dear friend of ours who we try to incorporate in any way possible. However,
into as many damaging stories as we can.
Gilbert Joseph Lance.
Joseph Lance.
I've only met one Lance in my life. Raymond.
The only Lance I know is the Elite Four Pokemon trainer.
Are you going to say the Elite Lamb Armstrong or something like that?
Nah, forget Lance Armstrong.
Dallas Henry. Roosevelt.
Dallas Henry.
Collier Willis. Willis. Willie. Goes by Willie. Let's do another random spin. Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Jesus. Malone. Ooh. It just gave me a string of names that are pretty interesting. Vincent Archie Lewis.
Archie Lewis?
No, like those are just all first names. So there's Vincent as one, Archie another. You know, Vincent, Vinny, Archie.
We can do Archie.
I
Sounds
haven't
like
heard that. You know, there used to be a comic book and then a TV show back in the day.
yeah.
I'm
I
trying
think I
to.
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember that?
I remember Archie, the like graphic novel. That's what you're talking about.
Riverdale. That's right. There was Archie, you know, through the comics, and then they made like a cartoon, I think. Super old. I don't know why that just came into my head, but
Archie.
So antagonist Archie. Let's get Archie Nash. Briggs. Archie Collins. That sounds like it goes together.
Archie Collins.
Archie Johnson Underwood. Malone. Archie Malone.
Archie Malone.
Archie Dixon. Fleming. Archie Collins, I keep coming back to.
Archie Fleming isn't bad either.
No, it's not. Archie Barton.
Archie Barton.
Archie.
Let's do Archie Collins. I think that flows better.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of hard. So Archie Collins flows. So we have.
All right, so we have our MC named Erica Burns, teacher named Faye Carroll, and the antagonist named Archie Collins. We have kind of a premise of a story, kind of like a revenge story that happens in a pottery studio. So I think we should start plotting this story out and see if we can come up with something. I think we have everything we need. And then we got our 5 words, and we'll obviously hit on all of those.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start this off. The story can start off as Miss Faye Carroll introduces Archie.
Not first, not yet, because we start off with life is good. What's the norm? The norm is, you know, Erica comes. You know, it's a beautiful day. Erica wakes up.
She's got her
morning routine. Everything is great. You know, the birds are chirping. You know, blah blah blah. Gets to the studio.
She's got another custom
first place for some yada yada.
Yeah, she's got another custom request from a client.
Yeah,
specifically for her. To studio with another custom request. Custom request for a pot. A pot or a piece of for a piece. Call it piece. An art piece. everyone's doing their thing, and this is when Miss Faye Carroll brings in Archie, right?
Now, okay, yes, it could be. How deep do we want? How three-dimensional are we trying to make these characters? And I say that, and I ask that because part about touching upon these folks' lives could be, what's their family life like? What's their friends' life like? What's their blah blah blah? Or we can keep it kind of like this, and this, and this happens, and then those other things, are
I think we shouldn't. We can dimensionalize some of these characters a bit. Yeah. So
let's just say, she has an awesome day. Something like this, right? Well, let's also set the stage. Okay, hold on. Let's set the stage real quick for the competition, or whatever this thing's gonna be, right? So she gets to the studio. She gets a custom request. She's just awesome. Coworkers love her. Whatever, telling her good things. And then at some point, maybe, Faye comes in and is, excited about something. All the other partners come around, like, what's going on?
Maybe the competition is between a bunch of pottery studios.
Yeah.
And one piece is chosen from each studio. So all the potters should probably name the studio too.
Yeah.
I don't know why Studio 65 just came in my head.
All the
potters.
Really see what kind of pottery studios. Lucky Penny Pottery. That's one close by here. It's on Hope Street, actually. Island Pottery Studio. Hands-on Pottery.
Stone Cold Pottery.
It could be Carol's Pottery Studio. Carol's Pottery Studio.
Carol's Pottery Barn.
Got to get sued. Carol's Pottery Club.
Carol's Pots.
It has a ring to it, I won't lie.
Carol's Kiln. Carol's Playworks.
Hey, all right. We'll call it Carol's Clayworks.
Carol's Clayworks. All right.
All right. So she tells all the potters, to gather around, let's say, and tells them about the competition between the pottery studios for a TV program.
Right.
Let's put some stakes on this thing. Winner is getting an all expenses paid trip to Disney World. No. Winner is getting some money reward.
Their work
and their work shown somewhere important.
Their work is going to be front and center stage at like a red carpet event or something.
It's going to be at the Met Gala.
Okay, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
The winner is getting some money, and their work will be shown at the Met Gala. Part of something here that we should probably put in here. It will not. Well, let me put it to you, and we can discuss it. But like, maybe there's also you have the pride aspect, which is like it'd be showing the Met Gala in number one, and then there's always another aspect when it comes to money, and so there might be an aspect of like she needs the money to do something important with it. And this actually might be her, I won't say redeeming quality, but the thing that humanizes her, especially later, where it's like, maybe she needs the money for an opera, her grandmother, her mother needs an
She
operation.
invested most of her money in crypto and went to zero.
Something more noble. What was that? What was that crypto thing? FTX or something like that?
Yeah, she invested in FTX and it went to zero.
Yeah. And she was going to use that money for like, does she have a child? Is she childless? Is she with a husband? Is she husbandless or girlfriend, wifeless? Is she, was she going to use it for just
I feel like
for a new car or something, whatever, or was it going to be like to save somebody?
I feel like our main character cares more about the status of being shown at the Met Gala, and not the money.
I think, and I'm just saying that as like, hey, there's another potential thing that can be attached here with the money. It can be something as simple as instead of being stuck underneath Carol's Clayworks, eventually she wants to open her own studio, her own pottery studio. And with this money, she's going to do that. And that kind of feeds into her ego of like, I need to spread my own wings. I need to be my own thing.
Yeah, she wants to start Burns Pots.
So what we'll do is make a quick little revision here or addition here. Maybe one of her coworkers, or you know what? No, it can come up later. So like winner gets money and blah blah Met Gala. All the Potters are excited. And we could, it could be something like, but they know
Erica's probably going to win.
Yeah, they know Erica is going to win and has it in the bag.
They're excited for her. They're like, Erica, your work can finally get showcased globally.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like later on that day or whatever, her coworker can come to her and say like, with that money, you can finally open your own spot. She's like, yeah, I know, blah, blah. And then, that little bit of information is out there.
Yeah. Or maybe she keeps it a secret that she's not trying to open her own spot.
I think if just one person knows, like her best friend, she also needs some allies. And I think just like one friend at this thing knowing is more than enough. And I wouldn't do more than that. Like just one person who she trusts the most knows.
That she'll bring with her to her new studio once she opens it.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So we have competition. We have the expectation that she would win, and we know that it's important to her that she eventually does her own thing. And and we set up that she has a friend that she can tell these kind of inner thoughts to. Okay.
Yeah, basically, in her mind, she has a very good chance of winning, her studio's spot, the money and recognition from winning this competition
Yeah.
is going to allow her to kickstart her studio because she has the funds to do it, and she also has that momentum from her work being at the Met Gala. So there's a lot at stake.
Yeah. And just to get around the question of like, wait, well, how does she know? Yeah, she may be great for her studio. How does she know she would beat out the other studios? It could be one of those things where she's been around. She knows the top potters at the other studios and knows that like their work doesn't hold a candle to hers. That kind of thing.
Right. Right.
And by doing that, we also demonstrate that she is mindful of her competition from other studios, let's say, or she knows she's good enough to be able to spot talent in other places as well. Okay,
Yeah.
so instead of it being the same day, it's one of those things where like she could go home.
She starts drafting up her idea for the competition.
Yeah. She goes home. If you wanted to make her well-rounded in a sense, you can have her like, see her parents or whatever. She tells them about the competition, blah, blah, blah. It also gives us a chance to have some insight where, I'm thinking in terms of if this was shot, you would see like the medals on the wall and the ribbons and the blah, blah, blah.
I feel like she should be some sort of a loner. And it's just her
alone
and pottery.
But here's the thing, Kevin. I don't disagree with that. It could be like the basis of what, the type of person. There's also a commentary on that could be made about she's in her parents' lives, so she's not a complete loner. She's in her parents' lives, and even they, if there was an interview later, they themselves wouldn't be able to say like how the hell she turned into a murderer or attempted murder, blah blah. Like,
right.
It's like how, who would have known? Who could have seen this?
Right.
And I don't think it totally takes her away from being a loner because it's just her parents. Now, whether she hangs out with friends or something like that, we can come up with the idea. We could lay the groundwork for like she doesn't, or she doesn't have. Maybe her parents ask her like, are you dating anyone? She's like, I don't have time for that.
I got pots to make. So, pottery is life. What do you mean?
Her parents, and we see the awards on the wall.
She goes to her parents' house.
Yeah, just for dinner.
Okay.
Just like a quick, maybe it's something they do every week. Once a week. They ask her what's new, let's say, whatever. She tells them about the competition, yada, yada, yada. They ask about is she dating, or whatever. And she says she's
Focused on her career.
focused on these pots. Just to set the stage where it's like she's about this. This is her life, and that helps seeing the ribbons and the blah 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 on the wall.
Yeah,
whatever this conversation is with the parents, but either way, you really drive the. She's been doing this for a while, and this is her life. Okay, we'll do some skipping here. I mean, if we were making like a proper film story, we'll have to flesh it out, but this is more of an outline. So let's just say, next day, or, just to add in your point, she gets home and begins coming up with ideas, even though it's late,
Right.
Next day, we get to where you've been itching for. Next day,
That's right.
we get to the studio, and I would almost say like everything should kind of be like normal, like everything is. It appears to be a normal day, right? So like all the love and blah blah blah. Until
everyone's asking her
what she gonna do,
what she's gonna do for the competition. Yeah,
it appears to be a normal day, and she's talking about her ideas, etc. Then we have our ball drop, our mic drop.
Miss Fake Carol drops a bomb.
Now here's my question here. Should
Yep.
this person already be there? Or like when I say already be there, like, hey, Faye's like, turn around, everyone. I have someone important here to show you. And they're standing there, or it's like they're coming. I almost don't want it to be like a coming next day thing. Because then it's like, what's the point of that? It's like slowing down the story for no reason almost.
So you're saying when she gets to the studio, should Archie already be there?
Should Archie not when she gets there, or maybe when she gets there, she's like, "Who's that?" Maybe she even finds him slightly cute, but she's like, "Nope, I can't let him. I can't let that kind of thing get in my head. I'm not here to date. Whoever he is. He's a cute looking guy, but like, who cares? Like, I have things to do. She doesn't even know that he does pottery. Or, he's like,
what if he's the only guy at the studio, and it's just
all the
girls makes him stand out even more.
All the girls are gushing over him.
Yeah.
There's a guy at the studio that all the girls are gushing about, or at least some of them. Some of them probably don't even care. Maybe they're not into guys.
Because maybe normally when Erica shows up, everyone crowds her, asks her about stuff. But today, when she shows up, no one comes up to her, and they're all crowded around Archie. So it's like already you see the contrast in her day.
Yeah.
That it's starting to turn for the worse.
Yeah, and I would say the initial emotion of it, I guess, is a little bit, I don't want to say even jealousy, but
it starts to plant the seeds of jealousy.
yeah.
Starts.
And this should be a couple different things. It starts to plant the seed of jealousy, but also just like, I think it's interesting if she finds him also cute or something. Yeah, she doesn't, she's not going to let him interfere with the business of pottery. But it'd be interesting to see that contrast once everything's all laid out of like, she found him cute or whatever. And then, it didn't start off completely with anger and resentment, blah, blah. It started off with, like, hey, what the hell is happening? And like, oh, that guy, yeah, he's cute, but like, I'm not going to let him distract me.
Oh, maybe he's one of those, he's kind of like a playboy and he flirts with her.
Yeah, but then that gives her a reason to hate him if he's a playboy with everyone. I want the audience to have a reason to hate him, just or for Erica to hate him, not the audience. Well, yeah, that would also make the audience potentially hate him, but he needs to be our semi more innocent man.
All right, semi innocent,
Not
completely evil.
Properly introduces him, and I think, would you say that he's like a family friend?
Yeah, a family friend's son. So it could be like one of Faye's old friends, and this is her son, old pottery friends.
Yeah. Oh, here's the thing, though. He's just returned from someplace.
Italy.
He took sculpting classes in Italy.
In Greece.
He just returned from a
family
study abroad.
Yeah, maybe he was repairing the pillars at the Pantheon. Now,
Of course, he was going to lose.
Yeah, he was studying abroad in some European country.
I don't think it really matters, but
Yeah,
he was studying abroad somewhere. And yeah.
Okay. And he's doing
But
and maybe he's Faye Carroll's new apprentice or something.
well, I mean, he could. I guess technically all of them are apprentices, right? So yeah. But he's returned from abroad, sculpting of some sort. Faye lets them know he's the new apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think Erica would care at first, to be honest with you. Like, she hasn't seen his work, so she's just like, okay, right?
Right.
So she wouldn't be phased by him. Okay. Seen his work. Now we have to demonstrate how good he is. Like maybe all right. They all go off. The day continues. They all go off to do their thing. She's planning what she's going to do for competition, and either he says like, yeah, I want to join this or I'm going to join, or I will be in this competition too, blah blah. And she's like, this is for the pros. Like, let's see what you can do. And then he shows up and he's just like, he rocks it and kills it. Or he creates some pottery. Everyone's like, damn,
Yep.
you're really elaborate and cool and good and blah blah blah. And then they're like, you should join, you should enter this competition. And then we get our referral.
Yeah, it could be a referral. I mean, he kind of already got referred to Faye by their family friend.
Hitting it twice.
Okay, yeah.
But like that's something that could happen. What do you think?
Yeah, they either they're just maybe Faye gives Archie an assignment to do, and he has something to work on, and he he creates it, and everyone is like crowding around it. It's like this spectacular piece of pottery, and now everyone's like, "Oh, you should." Maybe they start saying like some remarks that'll start
as good as Erica.
That starts to get under Erica's skin. Like,
yeah,
oh, maybe Erica has some competition. Right. Stuff like that. Backhanded remarks like that aren't serious, but like supposed to be in a jovial manner, but that's not how our main character takes it.
Right. Yeah, okay. And you know what? I'm trying to think. Like Erica, she would, she sees the work is good.
But her ego won't let her accept that it's on her level. So she tries to find.
What if she's like
faults in it?
Coming up soon, like you should probably join next year. I mean,
she should.
Has to like throw the can down the road.
Yeah. She starts her path towards sabotage, tries to persuade him to not join.
Yeah, something like that. All right. But, so day ends. Erica's going to try to throw him maybe for next year. She is, I'm not sure how it would be shown, but for the sake of the outline, she's troubled by Archie and his skill. And we see this as she ends her day and whatever. Next day, the competition. So either we can go next day, Archie enters competition, yada yada. Seems like a drag. Versus, and there might be some stuff in between, but we get to the competition and Archie is there. What the F is he doing there? And Erica is not pleased and happy to see him.
maybe there needs to be some interaction between the two of them before that to make that more.
I would think that when she tells him, like, you know, his work is good, but suggests competition next year, there'll be more to that conversation. Like, it just them two talking.
You know what I'm thinking is she makes her remarks about how he should sharpen his skills and then join the competition next year.
Yeah.
Just because he's like fairly new or whatever in pottery. And then what if he seems like he sort of agrees with her? He's like, "Oh, you're probably right." But then he shows up anyway. And
yeah. Listen,
you say that?
Play nice and be on her good side.
And that, I think, having that one interaction there. So she's like showing up to the competition thinking he's not going to be there, but he's there anyway. When she thought in her head that, she's like the alpha of this pottery studio and someone has disobeyed.
Right.
Her underling has disobeyed her.
Right. So, he agrees. He's trying to play nice. Doesn't seem like he'll show up. She thinks she was successful at delaying. We get to our competition day, and he's there with his, I guess it's a pottery bib.
With his pottery bib.
The man's ready to go.
With his apron.
Yeah, there you go. Pottery apron, that's what it is.
That's a bib. He's a baby.
And is ready to contend.
He's a child prodigy. He's actually 7. That's why he's wearing a bib.
Competition ensues, or begins, or whatever. And, let's give, Erica wins first round. Archie wins second. But basically what I'm getting at here is it needs to become both of them are winning rounds by round. And
yeah,
she needs to do something about this. And we get closer to what you were talking about with the jealousy boiling and her trying to commit sabotage.
Yeah. So,
how long is this competition? Is it a day competition? Is it a 2-day competition? Is this like next day she shows up and she has a game plan to sabotage him?
I feel like it should span 3 days because I feel like the art needs like overnight to dry or whatever.
That's true too. So
I'm not sure if that's actually true.
No, now that you say it, in the competition, it wasn't all done in one day. There's like a multi-day thing because they needed time to let it.
Yeah, so maybe on the night of the second day.
Well, before we even get to that, let's just say, first day they're neck and neck.
Yeah.
Their pieces are complicated, and the judges think they are among the top. Let's say second. What were you about to say about the second day?
I was going to say the night of the second day. That's when she starts to sabotage.
So let's say, Erica
wins the first day. Archie wins second day.
Well, let's say like this, right? Erica, so end of set first day, Erica returns home and she's in panic mode, you know, hyperventilating. She wants to win this. And this man is really, causing her some issues. And but it gets her gears grinding, right? It gets her gears going. And she starts to try to think of a plan, right? And then we have we have depression, sadness. She's just gonna have to try to beat him out the next day. And then you're saying the end of the second day, we have, I think the only way to stop him is to sabotage him.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the conclusion that the only way to stop him is to sabotage him.
Okay, so she goes home. She shows up the next day and finds out that he's won the next day, or
I think by the end of the second day, by that time they should be onto glazing or whatever else, like really just making it complete the art of their work.
Yeah.
So by the end of that, she's like, I would think this by the third day at least it would be, so maybe on the second day she decides, there's some drama that can build up in there without us necessarily climbing into it at the moment. But I think on the second day, things have already hardened up and she has an opportunity to make him drop it or something like this. By the third day, that's usually when they would do a reveal and an assessment.
Yeah, okay.
So let's say technically by the end of the second day, she might be disqualified. So she has to kind of start watching him, for the first day. She has her eyes on him on the first day. She's like, damn, He returns home. She's hyperventilating, whatever. And, she has to come up with something, but she can't. Maybe she can't really think of anything.
Yeah.
On the second day, she comes to the conclusion only to sabotage him. And for the sake of being brief, that sabotage can come in the way of trying to break his thing. She trips him.
Well, how did she try to sabotage him, though?
Well, my thing is, one of the ways is by tripping folks. I feel like in there was other ways, like people took other people's materials or whatever. But
does she sneak into the kiln room and maybe raise the temperature or lower the temperature of the kiln where his piece?
The only thing with that is that her piece will already have to be out because they're probably using the same one.
Okay.
So by essence, she might destroy her own piece. Which is also an interesting thought. Yeah, like she's that desperate. She's like,
maybe
we have to start all over again. Like, yeah.
I don't know if this is true or not because I don't do pottery, but it makes sense to me logically and scientifically. She like pokes holes in his pot or something. I don't know what that would do. I feel like that would bring in air and bring in cracks or something.
She places a giant block on top of his and it gets smushed.
That's too obvious. I feel like she could take like a needle or a pencil and like just jab a few holes. Now, like,
she can also,
I don't know if this is true or not.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like because now,
well, I don't think we should get stuck on it either. Like she sabotages him some way, somehow she sabotages him.
All right, yeah.
then,
She throws a banana peel and he slipped on it.
either they have cameras, which would make sense. It's a television competition, so they have cameras, and they review it and they find that she was the last one to go in there, or she was some way she it's found out that she was the one to do the deed.
Yeah. So we're having her sneak into
The kiln.
an exclusive area when no one's around, right? And then physically sabotage his sabotages Archie's piece of pottery. And then, our...
Actually might end the second day, right?
Yeah, that's the end.
Yeah.
The night of...
That's the night of the second day.
Yeah. Then, because our MC's not so smart, she didn't realize that there's hidden cameras in there.
Too jealous.
She's just enveloped in a state of rage and jealousy and envy that she forgets that there's cameras.
All right, she's on camera. Ruining. Whatever it is, it can also be like she ruins everyone else's by accident. I mean, she didn't intend to ruin everyone else's stuff, but she ends up doing that too. That's something that could happen. But in any event, they show her on camera ruining his work. And for this, she is
Disqualified.
yeah. She's distraught. She can't believe it.
I'm having an interesting way on how the lie can come in now. Maybe Erica is she's full of guilt. So she apologizes to Archie, opens up to him and everything, wishes him the best. And the only thing she asks is that Archie doesn't tell Faye Carroll that Erica is the one that was trying to sabotage everyone. But then he snitches anyway.
Right. Because that removes her from the competition, but then this also can remove her from the studio.
Right.
So Archie snitches. Okay. Hold on. Archie threatens to snitch. Erica tries to talk him out of it. But it's no use. Archie's about that.
I mean, he gets her to help him with something in exchange for not snitching.
Who?
Erica. So if Archie's threatening her, saying that he's going to snitch, Erica would be like, please don't do that. This is everything I have. What can I do for you to not tell Miss Carol? And he could be like, help me draw up designs for, maybe because she ruined everyone's piece that they have to redo this thing or something. And then he's like, you have to help me redesign a pottery piece together. And then maybe he plays pseudo nice guy again and says, I'll give you credit or something as well once it gets released or something. In return, that he doesn't snitch on her. But then,
well, if ultimately we're getting towards like he's gonna do it anyways, you're basically just saying like that kind of makes him evil because he's giving her like a bit of hope, and then he's just like, but he has no intentions on following through.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not mad about it because you know what? Maybe we have to give it a little bit so that way people are like, he's not he's not an angel.
No, he's a
con artist from Europe.
Actually, he's pretty much the same person as Erica. They're just it's different circumstances.
One's right willing to kill.
Erica's willing to go beyond pottery.
So we'll just keep it simple. It's something in return, and Erica agrees as long as he doesn't tell Faye. They come to an agreement or supposed agreement. However, Archie still snitches.
Archie snitches. The next day, Erica shows up. Everyone is like looking at her with
with disgust.
Yeah, with disgust. Faye Carroll tells Erica to come into her office.
Oh, that's right.
And Faye says, Archie told me everything you tried to do, Erica. You've disappointed me greatly. You've put a stain on the reputation of Carol's Clay Works. Now I need you to turn in your apron.
Sounds like something from Hell's Kitchen or something like that. Yeah.
Turn in your brown apron.
Yeah.
You're through.
Just like that. Erica's world is upside down.
She's lost everything.
That's right. Everything she holds dear.
Mm-hmm.
Now we go to slash the tires.
That's right.
Erica wants
revenge. Yep.
Either smash, breaks into his house. I don't know.
Erica wants revenge.
Wait. We're skipping over something potentially important. What if Archie... she gets kicked out, Archie gets a second. Let's just say in the realm of the competition, Archie gets a chance, and he ends up winning. Like, he gets to redo it, whatever. He ends up winning.
Yeah.
Now he has the money. He has the fame. He has everything. Now
Yeah.
she really got's going, right? And what if she thinks, I'm thinking in terms of slash and tire, blah, blah. But what if she's like, yeah, if I go into his house and take the check, the reward money check or whatever,
Tries to rob him.
tries to rob him. Because now she has to open up her own spot. And she really needs that money to open up her own spot.
Okay.
So hold on. So let's just, and yes, like in the real world, to everyone watching, like obviously there's more elaboration to like Archie winning and
You're right.
yada yada. But just for the sake of being brief, Archie wins the competition, and it's the reward money and the fame, etc. Erica is busting at the seams. Erica wants revenge.
Maybe she shows up to his house, breaks into his house with the.
What though? Does she does it on the first day? Maybe there's some kind of she shows up to his house with the expectation of carrying out her deeds, right?
What if she shows up with the intention of burning it down, but she steals the money instead?
Ooh, okay. She shows the expectation of burning the house down.
She wants to make good on her Burns last name.
The check instead. She takes it. She takes it and runs. She leaves. She could either leave some behind, or he also has security cameras. But we already did the camera thing, so I guess also she leaves.
Maybe she drops a trinket. That's only
behind. That's
only like unique to her.
Yeah,
and then it's easily identifiable back to her.
Yeah, and then the next morning, let's just say, for the sake of being brief, there's loud bangs or knocks at the door. Open up.
Open up.
It's the cops. They arrest her on the spot.
That's right.
You going straight to jail. All right. So we're gonna speed up here. She goes through booking. Okay, whatever. Parents are disappointed with her. Okay, whatever. Right. Okay. Court date is set. She's out on bail. So we're basically jumping through this whole police station scene. Things happen there. You guys get the gist. We've seen it before.
Yep.
Booking. Parents come in, disappointed. Lawyers show up. She gets set out on bail. Blah blah blah. Court date is set. Okay.
Yep.
Now we have. Oh, that's right. We were talking about how she could beg him to because here's the thing. Her one saving grace here is if he decides to drop the charges. He has the money back. If he decides to drop the charges and not plead against, or I forget what they call it, but he's like, all right. Technically, she still has some trouble legally, but if he's like, well, I'm not going to show up to court and
press charges.
Yeah. The things that my grievances or whatever, that's technically a reduced sentence, or they could drop it, right?
Right.
So she goes to beg she goes to beg him, and
Tries to get him to drop his charges.
yeah, right. Tries to get him to drop the charges. Now, hold on. Now, either he can be a little something and like be like, yeah, I'll drop the charges, and then plays her again and doesn't, and he's just now she's like, son of a, or he just doesn't, and she's just livid, and like this is purely this is rage. She's destroyed. Now she wants, to remove him. If she removes him, actually, it kind of makes more sense, because if she removes him, who's going to take up the fight for these charges? In the real world, his parents probably, but okay.
I feel like they should do the fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Fool twice. Fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me 3 times, and get fooled again. That's what George.
Fool me 3 times, you're dead.
All
right, so he dupes her again.
Okay, so she goes in. He plays her.
Dupes her again.
He will drop. What doesn't? She now, and it goes without saying, her mental state at each point is like deteriorating, right? In the sense of like her anger and rage and her, what do you call morals are changing. You would have to see it throughout the scene at the police station. You have to see it here. Like you'll see the morals start to drop, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, she now knows she has to get rid of him.
Yeah.
How about this? How about she didn't actually intend to kill him, but and still asks the question like, why? I was going to say kidnaps him and tries to threaten him. But, it doesn't really make sense. He already took everything away from her, and now she just wants
revenge. She wants blood.
She wants him just like
she wants
how she's hurt.
She wants justice.
Right. Her own perverted version of justice.
That's right.
Now, on paper, this is quite the right turn. However, it goes without saying, again, there's some context that would have to go further. If you were to really turn this into a script or something like that, or a book, there's some context that would have to be elaborated on to make this turn, or to get to this point, right? But okay, we get to this point. She wants blood. Just as a recap, we went from her being, she doesn't really start off as too soft, though. I must say, like, if there was ever a revision of this, we need to demonstrate her softness. Referral is there. All sorts of lying is done. This man keeps lying to her left and right.
We're coming towards the understanding part. She's going to understand herself.
Kevin. Big idea here, okay? There was a lady serial killer who she's popping into my mind, but pretty much they did like and this happened to a whole bunch of murderers, blah, blah, blah. They did like an interview with them in jail, right? And then that's when some of them get to demonstrate their understanding of their crime and blah, blah, blah. What if
You
all of
know?
this is from the standpoint of she's been locked away now for like, this is actually back in time. She's been locked away for a good 20 years, and she's giving like an exclusive to a news outlet. And this is how she demonstrates her understanding of her crime, of the jealousy, of everything. Now she's been in jail for so long, or whatever.
Okay, so she's gonna try to get revenge, try to kill him in some way. She does she succeed or no?
I think she does.
All right, so she succeeds in killing him in whatever manner she decides to do.
Mhm.
She gets caught, obviously, and now fast forward.
She gets caught, and then we go back to real time. This whole thing could technically be a recounting of what happened. As if she was to tell. It's as if you were to put color to the words as she was telling it to a reporter.
Oh, okay.
I grew up. I had this promising career. I was number one. Blah blah. But we're seeing it from the first person, and she's also telling it from her point of view. And then she's just adding color. So it's like we're going back in time. So like imagine like we're in the jail. This stuff has already happened. This is the past, but we're reliving it like it's the present.
Right. All right. So she gets caught. It fast forwards to the present day. She's in cuffs, talking to a reporter.
Yeah. So like the skinny of it is she gets. I mean, you already said it, but she gets her perverted version of justice. She kills him. She gets caught by the police. She gets sentenced. She goes to jail. Her life is completely ruined. Now here's the thing. The understanding part is interesting. She might be like, she might have, her perspective might be, if I can't have it, no one, he can't, or no one else can, especially him, whatever, right? That's one way, that's one level of understanding. Or it can be, I screwed up, blah blah. Like I let jealousy get a hold of me, and I made decisions I shouldn't have made, and I regret it. One's like regret. One's like he got what was coming to him.
Maybe it's a shade of both. Maybe she's like, I do regret all this. I had a promising career in pottery. I completely derailed it. But people like Archie,
they deserve
they deserve to die.
Yeah. I mean, oh my god. In all seriousness, it could be. I think we have ourselves an outline and a story that on paper sort of works. There's a lot of flushing out that would need to be done if this were actually to be made. And especially since a lot of it's a mental state, so there's a lot of things that needs to easily demonstrate. Like this is where her mental state is right now. This is how it degrades over time to get her to the point to kill. Right.
I got a pretty good ending for this.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I should make it a surprise when we go through it, or should I say it now?
Well, we kind of just went through it. Say it now.
All right. So she's saying how regretful she is, how it ruined her career and stuff like that. Then she makes an evil look at the reporter and says, but I'm not going to lie. It did feel good.
That's how you end it. This is a movie now.
And then that is the end scene. All right. Should we go through this?
Not a bad little story. I mean, it's a
Let's
bad,
go.
terrible story. Especially for Archie. Poor Archie. Man just
Poor Archie.
wanted to make some pottery.
All right, let's go from the top and just try to tell it. So to recap for everyone, the 5 words we were given were pottery, understanding, lie, referral, and soft. Our goal was to construct a story incorporating those 5 words as themes or actual things within the story. So let's take it from the top. I'll start. Erica wakes up. It's just a normal morning. She has a set routine in her little apartment. Maybe she's a cat person. She feeds her cat. Maybe she puts on the same clothes every single day because she seems like that type of person. Eats the same breakfast. Pretty much her morning routine is the same since whatever, as long as she can remember. She shows up to her place of work, Carol's Clay Works. Miss Faye Carroll, the owner of the pottery studio, is her mentor and is who brought Erica on, helped her refine her talents or whatever. She shows up to another customer request on her desk for another art piece. Something she's become accustomed to and normal to since she's very talented. And then Miss Carroll comes in. She tells all the potters about this competition between pottery studios for a TV program. There's going to be a large reward, monetary wise. There's going to be a large money reward, as well as the piece from the competition is going to be showcased at the Met Gala for a global event on public television, so millions of people worldwide can see it. Erica has always had aspirations of opening up her own pottery studio. She just didn't have the cash flow for it. And everything she's done has been under the guise and recognition of Faye Carroll's pottery studio. So she saw this as an opportunity to escape and pretty much, fly on her own, become her own thing. The money would give her enough cash to invest in opening a studio, rent out a place, and then the recognition from the event and her work would give her enough boost for her to get, some initial business. So Erica goes home to her parents' house to have their weekly dinner. Inside her parents' house, we see, Erica's been a potter prodigy since she was young. So we see awards of Erica on the walls, pictures of Erica with her first, pieces of pottery, maybe some of the actual pieces still there at her parents' house. They're having dinner. They're having a conversation with Erica. Erica tells, her parents about the competition. They already know she wants to open her own studio, so she's excited about it. And they're excited for her, but, they also care about her life. They want some grandkids, so they're like, are you dating yet? And she's like, no, I ain't got time for that. Pottery is life. I got to focus on pottery. And then she goes home and starts drawing up ideas for the competition. And then, Dave, why don't you take us to the next arc of this story?
All right. So we have she leaves for the next day as if it's a normal day. She goes to the coffee shop. They already got her coffee order, let's say. It's a normal day. The birds are chirping. Everything seems on the up and up. Get to the studio, and all the girls are no longer by her. No one seems to even care about her. They're all by this mysterious man who sits in the corner, let's say, and they're gushing, they're whispering, they're gossiping, they're doing all this stuff, right? Don't get us wrong. Erica does think he's cute, but she doesn't want to be distracted by him. And at the end of the day, Pottery's life, she goes to work. We can even have a moment where one of her friends comes over. Did you see the new guy? And she says, yeah, I saw him. He looks good, but who cares? Pottery is life. Okay.
Right.
We have our mic drop moment. Faye comes in and properly introduces everyone, telling him that this is Archie. This is a family friend's son. Maybe her favorite girlfriend's son. He was abroad in Europe, and now he's back. He was sculpting out there, being an artist and the master of sculpting. And now he's back, and he's here to be the new apprentice for the studio. Erica at first isn't fazed by this because she hasn't really seen his work. And, what is one more apprentice? Means nothing to her yet. Mm-hmm. The day goes on and Archie ends up creating this amazing piece of work that potentially Faye had asked him to create as like a demonstration or something that she needed done. He goes on, and this piece is absolutely stellar. I mean, it's amazing. It's full of little details. It's everything you would want, right? And everyone in there is saying, yeah, maybe you're dropping hints, saying little things like you should join the competition. I mean, you're just as good as Erica. Well, that's underneath Erica's skin, right? She goes and looks over his work, and even herself, even if she just tells it to herself, at least, his work is excellent. It's really good. Now, she suggests, out of jealousy, that he should sharpen his skills and maybe join the competition for next year. Our friend Archie agrees. Maybe it's just to play nice. Maybe he actually means it. Maybe he thinks he has some things to sharpen. By day's end, Erica is still troubled by Archie and his skill, but at least he won't be joining the competition, or so she believes. It's competition day, and who does Erica see? Is Archie with his pottery apron on. He is ready to contend. The competition begins. And at first, Erica doesn't think much about it other than, hey, he didn't listen, but she still thinks, I can beat him. I can take him on, and it'll be okay. Maybe a little apprehensive, but she thinks she can do it. Competition begins. They're going neck for neck. I mean, their pieces are both magnificent and beautiful, and maybe even Archie's a little bit better. Okay? They're neck and neck. The judges are coming by and making comments about their work, saying how well it is and that they're among the top. Erica cannot keep her eyes off of him. She keeps looking back to see where he's at with his work. At the end of that day, when Erica returns home, she's in panic mode. She's hyperventilating. She's upset. She's angry. She's jealous. She feels stupid for being jealous. She needs to do something, though, to secure the win of this competition. It's now the second day. She comes to the conclusion that she must actually commit sabotage. It's the only way she's going to be able to win. Her skills alone will not get her through the finish line. She does this by going into an area where she should not have been. And she physically sabotages his pottery. Maybe it's in the kiln. But this is at the end of the second day. On the third day, the TV team shows her on camera ruining his work. And for this, she is disqualified and removed from the competition. This makes Erica absolutely distraught. She cannot believe it. And on top of everything, she's embarrassed. Someone of her stature and competence to be removed in such a fashion. She's embarrassed by what she's done. But the last thing that she doesn't want is for Archie to tell the studio or anyone from the studio to even find out. The only person that currently knows about this from that studio is Archie. She goes over to Archie, tries to talk him out of it. Just at least keep your mouth shut. You don't have to say anything. Just ignore what happened. But it's ultimately, actually, we said that he'll agree, right? So Archie says he wants something from her in return. He wants to bargain. He wants to make a deal. Erica agrees to this deal as long as he doesn't tell Faye. Archie says, they shake hands on it. However, the next day, Archie tells all. You would think he's writing a tell-all book. He tells it all. And how does Erica even know that he told everyone? When she walks in, the look of disgust on all the faces of all of her co-workers in the studio. Faye tells her to come on into the office, and you know that means nothing good. She ends up kicking her out of the studio. Now, just like that, Erica's world is upside down and backwards. She's lost everything she holds dear, all of her hard work throughout her whole life. And for what? She didn't get the money. She can't open her own studio. She doesn't have the fame. And now her name is disgraced. To make matters worse, Archie is given a second chance at the competition and wins. So the one person who's the most gets the reward money and gets the fame. Erica's bursting at the seams. She's left with nothing except for trying to reclaim some sixth sense of justice and revenge.
That's right. So
I'll let you go.
She spends her last dollars filling up a canister of gasoline, buys a couple lighters, shows up at Archie's house when he's not there, somehow busts in. Maybe she learned how to lockpick, watched some YouTube videos, picks his lock, walks in there with the intention of burning his place down. But she sees the check on his coffee table from the competition. And instead, she, decides in her mind that she's going to let him off easy. So she steals the money and just returns home. Nothing's on fire. And the next day, she was pounding at her door. Police, open up. Pounding at her door. Her cats are going crazy. She opens the door. They say, "Are you Erica Burns?" She said, "Yes, I am." So I need you to put your hands behind your back. You're being you're under arrest for attempted arson, entering, and gives her the rights or whatever. I forgot what they're called. Miranda rights. That's right. So she goes to jail, accompanies them down to the local police station. They book her, do all that, take her mugshot. She has to call her parents. They're like surprised. They can't believe it. They think they have the wrong Erica Burns. They end up bailing her out. And now she's kind of out in the world. And she has nothing. She doesn't have anything. She's lost everything. And the only saving grace that she has left are pending charges from Archie on breaking and entering, attempted arson, all that. She wants him to drop it. So she goes and sees him, tries to plead with him to drop his charges. Again, he pulls an Archie and dupes her. Fool me once, fool me twice. Erica is now disrespected to the core. She sees red. She wants nothing but blood. She plans out an elaborate murder. Let's say she poisons his clay at the studio. Then he molds his clay. Poison enters his bloodstream, and he drops dead of a heart attack. So she succeeds. But, Erica is not a regular criminal, right? She's not too good at covering her tracks.
Right.
So she gets caught again. And now it is in present time. So Dave, why don't you end it off?
Yes. So it's in present time. We realize that either through the beginning or now we realize at the end, she's been talking to a reporter this whole time and recounting what led her to become a murderer.
That's right.
This conversation with the reporter. The reporter asks her, asks her a series of questions. And Erica, and we hear the buzzer goes off because it's time for her to return to her cell. Visiting hours is over. This interview is done. So Erica gets up. She turns to the reporter and says, I'm not going to lie. It did feel good. And walks
And that's
off.
the end.
That is the end
of our story. Now, to completely end it, we need to give this story a title.
Oh, boy.
I thought of a funny one.
What's that?
There Will Be Blood and Pottery.
At first, I was like, "Wait," because that's the name of a good film right there.
It is.
Daniel, I'm forgetting his last name, but yeah, there will be blood, there will be pottery, and pottery. Erica's misstep. Here's one. The killing of Archie.
Archie's demise. Blood and clay.
Ooh. It's a little cheesy, but it's not too bad. Blood and clay.
Mm-hmm. The Violent Potter. Erica's Revenge.
Ooh,
the most
yeah.
The most typical cookie cutter revenge title you can come up with.
Yeah, it is. But that's not why it works. You know, it could almost be like, you know, if this was like a true story, you know, it'd be like a headline in a newspaper. It could also be the title.
Yeah.
So it'd be like,
innocent Potter turns into horrific murderer.
That innocent. What was the other word for a potter? Ceramist?
Ceramist.
I feel like there'd be one word like clay, deceit, and murder.
Clay, lies, and murder.
The Potter's Revenge.
The Potter's Revenge is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
The Potter's Revenge. I kind of like that one.
All right. You heard it, folks. This was the story of the Potter's Revenge.
Now, look, obviously, you know, some parts we took, we gave some serious treatment. Some parts is a little bit on the funnier side. But I think for this kind of story, I think, Kevin, it could be an actual story and taken with enough seriousness. And I'm not saying we didn't, but taken with, you know, to flesh out certain themes and ideas and so on, and, you know, round it out so that way, you know, these characters actually feel three-dimensional, blah, blah. I think it's it's an interesting story. It's a little bit of things that people have seen before, so they'll understand the themes and the tropes. But it's in a light that it's with a mix of things that no one has ever seen before. I've never seen a film where a potter has gone on this murderous rage.
That's right. But it just goes to show you, you can create a story from thin air out of a bunch of different things, as long as you know how a story's supposed to work out, and you never know, what can come about. Like, who would have thought we'd have a murderous potter, given the words of pottery, understanding, why, referral, and soft.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And just to even double it down for folks who, and like Kevin and I, we've been in a position where we don't know what we want to write, and so we actually spend a lot of time just kind of coming up with ideas to write. Which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing, but sometimes it's taking, as Kevin just said, we have these random generated words, and sometimes it takes, hey, you just hit the generator, the random generator. Whatever words you get, work with them, and don't be tempted to hit it again or something like that. Like, whatever those words are, make them work. Make them work.
Yep.
And you come up with something like this. You come with interesting tales by forcing yourself to make seemingly random words. They're no longer random anymore, and that's the beautiful part of it. They're actually mingled in, and they're weaved into the fabric of the story we just told. So they're no longer random.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's the beauty of story. But we're going to cut it there. That'll end our first episode. Tune in next time, where we get a new set of words and a new story. We're going to make another vocation into a murderer, maybe. All right. See you guys.
All right, everyone.